English with Deck. So, as I am sure you are undoubtedly aware, Japan is a country and a culture that is steeped in tradition. Now, people frequently say that Japan is a country where old meets new. A lot of countries and cultures around the world, because of, well, natural disasters, wars, cultural change, various factors, they have sort of lost many of their traditions, their cultural aspects, maybe places of worship, etc. The list goes on. However, one thing which is pretty interesting in Japan is a lot of those aspects have been maintained and are still upheld and practiced into this very day and age. And that is pretty unique and special. And one of the things that happens globally is when a child reaches a milestone regarding their age, there is a celebration or ceremony for that child. Maybe the child will have to do something. Different cultures have different ceremonies for different ages. So, what happens in Japan, for example, uh, is there is a ceremony for a 1 year old child. Now, the reason I want to talk about that specifically today is because my daughter, my youngest daughter, will turn one next week. However, her birthday does fall on a Wednesday, weekday, meaning that we decided just to do the celebration today being Saturday. A bit easier for us, a few more people can join, make it, bulk out the numbers a little bit. Anyway, what my daughter will have to do, and my eldest did this, it's really common. Some have more success than others. It's a 1 year old after all. You never know what's going to happen. They are unpredictable creatures. But basically, they will have to carry on their back what's called a mochi cake. So imagine like a rice cake. However, it's not one that fits in your hand, but so comfortably. This thing weighs a lot. Now, have a guess. How much weight do you think this 1 year old child is expected to carry on their back? Just take a second. Okay, now if you guessed 1 kilogram, you would not be that far off. It is around 2 kilograms, about 4.4 pounds, as I have just read. And this 2 kilogram rice cake, it has a lot of symbolic purpose. For example, like the child to have enough food, their life, be strong, etc., etc. However, yes, the child is expected just to walk as much as they can with this in a backpack or just strapped to their back with like a cloth. And then after that, their child would probably, or will, sorry, will do like a little selection thing. So imagine you've got some like cards with little pictures or words on them, and the child will choose a card. They'll have different um, symbolic purposes. They could also be objects, by the way. Anyway, these could be things like a book, a calculator, money, comb, etc. They all have a meaning for what the child might be interested in or doing later in life. Yeah, and then after that, you just do your party. Maybe the child managed to do 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Maybe the child sat down and cried. Wow, wow, wow. I've seen a few babies do it. My eldest actually managed to walk the length of the room, which was pretty impressive. The cousin, my wife's cousin's child, he gave it to go, but I think he just ended up having a little cry quite quickly. It wasn't into it. So yeah, that's just two examples. Now, it's quite interesting coming from my perspective as we in England growing up, of course, you have like a first birthday, fifth birthday, 10th birthday, etc., etc. However, unless you are doing it for religious purposes, I don't believe there is that much of the importance on the ceremony side of things, other than just a party, you know? If I'm wrong there, feel free to correct me if anyone has any other opinions or comments on that. So yeah, until we would get to our teenage years, I would say the ceremonies are more just a party. However, then when you get to teenage years, 13, for example, you become a teenager. That's a really big event. And then, of course, 16, 18, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'd say the younger years are more just a party per se, which is quite different from how it is handled here. Of course, in Japan, you've got the 3, 5, and 7. Oh, no, she goes. Yeah. 3, 5, and 7. Yeah, yeah. 3, 5, and 7 ceremonies. Then you've got becoming adult ceremonies, girls' festival, boys' festival, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on here. Really special, really amazing. Now, what I just wanted to share quickly is a few other ceremonies or coming of age ceremonies from around the world, which I found quite interesting. Now, some of these sound kind of crazy, just from a perspective of someone who hasn't experienced them, but I am sure they are amazing to watch. Now, I don't know so much about these, um, but yeah, I'll just list a few off. See if you know any. See if you have experienced any, and please let everyone know in the comments. That would be appreciated. Okay, so just going down the list, of course, for people who practice Judaism, there is a bar mitzvah. Yes, of course, the religious ceremony marking a child's responsibility, typically at age 13. Okay, here we go. Seiji no Hi, the coming of age day for those turning 20 in Japan. That is, I have seen that myself. Very beautiful. What else have they got here? Okay, my pronunciation of this might be terrible. If it is, and you are from this country, I apologize. Please feel free to correct me. Khatam al Quran from Malaysia. An Islamic celebration marking the completion of Quran recitation. Cool, nice. Okay, let's just go down the list a little bit more. Of course, you have the christening for people who practice Christianity. That is very widespread in England. Um, Several of my friends and family were christened as babies. Some are christened later in life, but generally as a baby. What's this one? Oh, okay. This one looks pretty interesting. Basically, it's in Ethiopia, and it's called hammer cow jumping. Boys run across the backs of cas Oh, okay. They run across the backs of cattle to become maza, signifying readiness for marriage. Wow. Okay. So there you have just a few examples of really interesting and very varied ceremonies from around the world. Now, like I said, if you could leave a comment about some ceremonies or celebrations regarding coming of age, it from your country or your culture, that would be awesome. You know, if there's anything new there, I would love to learn about it. Okay, well, that's all for today, and have a great day and a great evening. Bye for now.